Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. So much like many of your fine selves, I like collecting retro consoles. Now there's one thing that really annoys me when collecting all these old consoles is all the cables that accumulate behind it. So in this video I'm going to see if I can turn my Steam Deck charger into a power plug for my other consoles. But before we get started guys, I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's liked, subscribed, commented and everything so far. James and I have recently hit over 1,000 subs and it means so much to us, and there is so much more to come. But enough of this sappy show of emotions, let's get stuck into the video. So these are the parts I'll be using in this project today. A couple of them here are Type-C USB power delivery boards, and this other one is a DC to DC step-up power converter. Now basically what these are kind of power regulators I'm going to use alongside the Steam Deck charger, which is a 20 volt charger, to attain the 9 volts that I'm going to need for both the PlayStation 2, the SNES and the Megadrive. And this USB connection is going to go onto the DC step up converter as well. So I've got a couple of plugs here that are going to be donors. Now unfortunately they're not working anyway and they're just kind of spare, so I thought I may as well put them to some use and use them to get the ends that I need for the consoles. So this first one, that was for the PlayStation I'm going to try. This next one is for the SNES and, no, this yellow tipped one was for the PlayStation 2 and the Mega Drive, and then this one here is for the SNES and the NES that I'm going to try. So the first one I'm making here is going to be for the PlayStation. Now this is the figure 8 power cord that I've used, and this is going to be set to a 7.5 volt, which I think is what the PlayStation 1 needs. Like, I've read a few different things, but 7.5 seems right. So basically just going to attach this all to the board now, and then going to check the voltages to try and get the 7.5. Now just when you're doing this, don't do what I've done and solder it the wrong way. Just make sure you're paying attention to where your ins and your outs are going. But eventually, when I realised what I'd done, I just kind of had to swap the board around, and that was it. And as you can see there, it's at 28.5, and then it's just a case of dialing it back now to get to the 7.5. Now these boards are very handy for attaining different voltages and stuff like that, and as you can see now we're at 7.5, so I'm going to leave that at 7.49, 7.5 because I think it'll work. We'll see how we get on at the end, but now we're going to make the NES and the SNES one. Now this is where it changes a wee bit, so this is where the Steam Deck plug is going to come into play, because you need the 20 volts to basically trigger the board to activate the 9 volts that you can set on it. So as you can see here, I've set it to the 9 volts, tested it with a voltometer, meter, daily, whatever it's called, and now just soldering that end now to the output of the board. And now this is the PlayStation 2. So again, this is along the same lines. This board is a wee bit different, where the first one had kind of wee switches that you could just toggle. This one now is you need to kind of solder a couple of points, but it was a wee bit tricky. But once I got them I got the 12 volt unsoldered, which was the default one, and then the 9 volt took a wee bit of persuasion, and it eventually worked. So now I've got the barrel plug soldered onto the end, checking the voltage here, and it's 8.9, so that'll do. So the three of them are now ready, so we'll test them with some of the consoles and see how we get on. So the first one I'm going to try here is the Mega Drive and the PlayStation 2 one. Now, so when I first plugged it in, I checked the power and I wasn't getting any lights. Now, what I wasn't sure about was the polarity. So what the negative and the positive points were on the wires. So I thought I would just desolder them, switch them around, and then see how we get in through there. And then I'm going to try again on the PlayStation 2. And as you can see now, it's got the standby light, so it is getting power to the board. So I'll boot this thing up and we'll see how we get on. Make sure it runs games. Now it's powering up. The picture looks a wee bit funny. Now I'm not sure if this is because of the cable that I'm using, the capture software that I'm using, or the power plug itself. But it's powering on, so that's a good start. And now we're going to try it with the Mega Drive. And as you can see here, it's lighting up, all good. So let's get it hooked up and get a picture and play some games. So the picture's jittery here a wee bit. So I've got a multi SCART plug, and I had the N64 and something else all plugged in at the same time, which was, I think, causing the jittering. So once I've unplugged it and made it just the one input, it seemed to be working fine. So as you can see here, everything's powered, working good. Let's try the PlayStation 1. Now this one I wasn't too sure about to begin with, because I'm not sure if it needs the, you know, the 220 volt input or whatever it is for the UK plug. I was hoping to kind of get away with it. Again, I'm checking the polarity here, switching them over just to see if it worked, but unfortunately it did not. Again, I'm not sure if this is even possible, if I'm doing something wrong, but if it's just like a small minor fix. If you've done something like this before, please let me know, because I would really like to try this. Last up now is the NES and the SNES. So I'm going to try it with the SNES just because I've not got my NES handy. So we're going to plug it in and see if it powers up. And we're getting a light, so it's definitely getting power. So we'll hook it up to the AV and we'll see if we can get some games booted. And we've got Castlevania 4 up and running. So testing away here, the game and everything's running fine. There doesn't seem to be any power problems or anything like that. There's no stuttering, jumping. It all seems to be working as it should. So overall, I think the PlayStation 2 Mega Drive and the NES and the SNES cables were a success. The PlayStation 1, now again, I'm going to have another look later down the line. And if you've got any suggestions, please let me know down below, because like I said, I really want to get this up and running. But here's some Castlevania 4. So there we have it. Couple of successes, one failure. I'm not really sure how it failed, or if I'm even doing it right, or if it's even possible. So if you've got a better knowledge of these things than I do, please comment down below and let me know how I can improve it, or if you've done it yourself, please let me know. I am stoked though that I've got these two cables now that will power both the NES, the SNES, as well as my Mega Drive and my PlayStation 2. They're both 9-volt barrel plugs with different ends on the end. So I'm just going to wrap it up here, guys. If you like this kind of thing, please think about liking and subscribing. Join the 1,000+ that have followed us so far. And if you do this wee project and you have success, please let me know down below. And even if you try this wee project and it doesn't work, please let me know. And if you need any help, just give me a shout. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Steam Deck charger. So I'm going to see if I can